Now, chapter 5 shifts, and he's, once again, Hebrew poetry. He's going to paint a picture for us about the scattering of Israel and about the Lord sending them out into the various nations. But he uses it through a song. He tells you, now I will sing to my well-beloved a song of my beloved touching his vineyard. Now he shifts into singing mode, so to speak. And it's a song about a vineyard that the Lord has put everything he could. He planted his choicest vine. He built a tower. He put a wine press in it. He provided everything possible for this vineyard to become fruitful, productive, and to prosper.
To be a profitable servant.
And look at verse, oh, and by the way, we're not talking about a vineyard. We're talking about you. We're talking about me. We're the thing that God has built and created and provided for. This is about us, and about us fulfilling our roles of being fruitful through him. Look at verse 4. What could have been done more to my vineyard that I have not done in it? Wherefore, when I looked that it should bring forth grapes, it brought forth wild grapes. I gave it everything it needed, and it didn't turn all of that light and that nutrient and that water and all those resources into sweet grapes. It brought forth sour grapes. The works were not works of righteousness. So he says, verse 5, now go to, I will tell you what I will do to my vineyard. I will take away the hedge thereof, and it shall be eaten up, and break down the wall thereof, and it shall be trodden down. And at that point, the vineyard can't say, hey, what are you doing? I deserve better than this. Because the vineyard knows, actually, yeah, I brought this upon myself. And verse 7 says, for the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. So he's making it very obvious. He's putting it on a silver platter saying, let me help you make the jump here, that we're not just talking about a vineyard in this song. We're talking about you. You're the pleasant plant.
And he says, he looked for judgment, but behold, oppression. For righteousness, but behold, a cry. Now, some really powerful wordplay going on in the underlying Hebrew. I want you to hear just these words. The word for judgment in Hebrew is mishpat, but instead you have this word mishpah, blood. So God is saying, I wanted righteousness, but instead we got people being killed and taken advantage of. I wanted tzedakah, righteousness, but instead he gets tesakah, which is a cry of distress. Now, somebody's translated into English in a way that might play upon alliteration and assonance in our language. It'd be like saying, he sought equity, but found iniquity. A righteous nation, but instead lamentation. So this sad story that God had given them everything, and they chose to use it to oppress one another, to hurt one another, instead of acting as God would to share and uplift. I also love how this Song of the Vineyard has some amazing literary echoes found in Jacob chapter 5. So if you want to take the longest chapter in the Book of Mormon and compare it with these verses in Isaiah, that would be an incredible study session where you can look at how does the Lord symbolically work with his people, spend so much time giving them resources, and the pain he experiences when he sees that people have chosen to corrupt or to break the good that he's brought.
And by the way, verse 20 kind of describes what was going on in Isaiah's time. It describes what's going on 100 years after that in Lehi and Nephi's time in Jerusalem. It's going to describe what Jesus is facing with some of the leaders of the people in his day. And I think you'll be able to liken it to our day as well. Verse 20 says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. And then he takes it one step further. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. This is a prophet saying, no, he's not saying it's a bad idea to that. He's saying, woe unto them. This is a cursing unto them. This is not a position anybody wants to be in.